Welcome to Coffee Meets Cloud, where three women in tech come together to share real stories about leadership, life, and everything in between. Join our hosts, Caramie McCollum.
Oh, I love the voice note feature, y'all.
Cassandra Parker.
I'm hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
And Rachel Rogers.
We have the power to change it.
Your go-to source for candid conversations and unfiltered insights. So, grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and join the chaos.
Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Cloud. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're tuning in. We're glad to have you. How are you ladies doing today?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm good.
Hello.
It's Friday, even though it's Tuesday when you're listening to this.
It's Friday on a Tuesday.
Friday. Oh, I love that for me.
I feel like we
It's
have
a long
Fridays
week.
on Tuesdays a lot. Yeah.
Hey, look, Ma, I made it.
We typically have Fridays on Tuesdays for all you guys wondering. We record on Fridays most times.
Yeah. Early in the mornings to
Yeah.
make life interesting. It's a good way to start the day, though. I think, and hopefully for you listening, if you're listening in the morning, this is a good way for you to start your day as well.
I mean, you never know what's going to come up, what topics we're going to talk about, or what we're going to say, quite frankly.
And the fun part is neither do we.
That's right.
That's big facts. That is big facts. I've had a double shot espresso drink and an Alani already. So
that's a lot.
It's not doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, I meant to grab my Alani before this and I did not. I will be grabbing it after this though.
Today I am upright and functional. I think that's as good as it gets. But I think that's okay. Like some days that's good enough, You got out of bed and you're going to do what you can, and that's good. For all of you listening, I've had a lot of personal issues going on with my dad. And so things aren't going terribly great. They're not going terribly bad, but they're not going terribly great. So got to do some last minute travel. So it always kind of, scrambles all of your best laid plans, and it'll be fine. But it takes a minute to wrap your head around.
Yep. If you're a praying person, say a prayer for Rachel's dad and safe travels and all those things.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. And, what'll be, right? And the important thing is we'll all be together and we'll manage through it. And that's what's important. But if you are listening today and you don't feel your best, it's okay. That's what we're here for. And, you ladies are here for me as I may struggle in today's episode. So, put those disclaimers out there so people lower your expectations appropriately.
We're hoping you haven't had your expectations too terribly high anyway. But whatever they're set at, notch them down a couple notches. And it be like that sometimes, It just be
exactly.
And you have to give yourself grace for those days where you just don't have it in you to do the things and you just barely make it. That's okay. You don't have to be everything to everybody every day of the week.
Yep.
But I think that's counterintuitive to being a mother, right? Because like the first things that went through my mind when I'm like, okay, I have to make these massive changes was like, okay, Kinley has all these therapy appointments and this has to happen and that has to happen. And I've
things you normally handle.
Right. And it's like, it's not just your work life. Like I feel like your work life a lot of times is a lot easier to reschedule, even though it may be painful, you may not like it, all of those things. But your personal life, there's no handoffs typically, right? Like there's limited options on what can happen there. And I think as moms, there is a level of guilt about that of, you don't want to have to do that. You want to be able to solve all the things for all the people.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're a parent of children who are still growing up, certainly still live under your roof, you're still their everything.
Yeah.
No matter what is going on internally or in the rest of, the rest of your life. So yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
Have you ladies had like one particular thing where you get like super mom guilt versus
absolutely.
Else?
You kidding? Probably.
But like, what is that thing? But like, what is that thing that normally like makes you feel like the guiltiest? Because when Kinley was little, for me, it used to be every time I couldn't go do something at school because I had to work, right? Yeah. I would feel like very guilty about it. Now that she's older, right? It shifted of where I feel guilty.
I feel Very blessed, I would say, in that aspect. I haven't had to miss a lot, if anything, for work. Mine is bedtime routine every evening. Both of my kids, I mean, my youngest is worse about it, but both of them always want me to come what they call snuggle with them in their bed at bedtime every night of their life. And my wife and I usually alternate who does what with the kids every evening so that we're not just responsible for the same thing day in and day out. So, like, one will do bath or supervising shower, and the other one will tuck the kids in or do dishes, like whatever. It just usually shakes out that way. But they still both request for me to tuck them in and they want me to lay there and cuddle. And that takes, I mean, first of all, there's two of them. And even
Yeah.
with just one, 5 minutes is not enough. They want me to lay there and,
Till they
so
fall asleep.
yeah, and they love their other mom, but she checks other boxes for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, I wanna do it." She's trying to be positive about, "I'm doing it, give your mommy a break," kinda thing, but they still are like, "Can't you just do it? Come on, I wanna blah, blah." And I always feel so guilty when I say, "No, let your mom do it," or when I'm tucking them in, but I know I still have a list of things I need to do before I can get
Yeah.
myself ready for bed. Or even if I don't have a chore list to do, I just wanna go read before I'm too sleepy to do
Right.
it, or catch up on a show, or, like, the last hour or 2 of our evening is our time when things have finally
Yeah.
slowed down.
Yeah.
But then, later or when I'm laying there doing whatever the thing is, I feel so guilty because I'm like, "How did that make them feel that I
Mhm.
told them no? Are they feeling rejected?" Like, and one day they're gonna stop asking me, and I don't know when that last time is
Right.
gonna be, and I'm
Right.
gonna wish I had done all of them. Like, what is that balance? I feel terrible about it.
Same thing. I feel terrible about bedtime because sometimes Liam always wants me to lay down, and he's in this routine. We lay down, we watch one little 5-minute video on this app. Then he says, "Okay, I love you, mommy." He grabs my arm, turns over, and goes to sleep. That's every night. That's how it is. So if I'm not here and he cries because Brent lays him down and he wants mommy and I'm not here, or if I'm feeling bad, like I had the flu, I was here physically, but I was just sick. And I'm like, I don't want to give you the flu. So let daddy tuck you in. He gives him a hard time. It's not that he doesn't love him, but to your point, he checks other boxes. I'm the
Right.
comforter. I'm his safe space. He wants me when he's going to sleep. And so
Mhm.
hearing him cry in the other room, I'm like, oh,
Like, I
I
could
feel
just
so
go in there
guilty.
and fix it. I could just go
Yeah.
in there and fix it for everybody. This has become an ordeal for everybody now,
Yeah.
when I could just go in there and do it. And then I'm also like, what is that healthy, like, I wanna teach them some healthy independence and
Mhm.
self-soothing and not being so but I don't know what that happy balance is. Like, they are still kids or they wouldn't be asking for it, kinda deal.
Well, and it's also like Kinley, the past year, I would say, she goes to bed, but then she always comes back down.
Mhm.
So she'll climb into my bed, right? And that's normally the time where I watch the news or whatever, and she wants to chit chat. And I feel guilty because I'm like, I'm done talking for the day. Like my
Just
quarters
Right.
are
want
spent. Like I just want to listen to this because honestly, it's going to be so boring. I'm going to fall asleep. And that's what I wanna do, but then I don't want like, I realize at the same time I have 3 years left with her in my house, right? I don't
Mhm.
want to miss those moments, right? So then I give her those moments, and then what ends up happening is I don't get enough sleep, and then we just
Mhm.
kind of spiral from there, right? And she doesn't get enough sleep either because she's, doing things she knows she's not supposed to be doing. So it's definitely a cycle, but I think that was kind of fun. I remember the bedtime tuck-ins, but it's kind of been fun to have her kind of circle back,
come
right?
back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's a good point about, and I've seen a lot of parents talk about this, that when you finally lay your kids down for bed, that is when they're the most prone to wanna actually talk to you about their day or just talk to you in general because, well, number 1, some of them are avoiding going to bed, and
Yes.
it's that simple. For others, it can be, that it's the first time they're really slowing down enough to think like, "Oh, I wanna tell my mom about this or that." And so that's the thing too, it's like, especially with boys,
Mhm.
they're not the most boys simply do not wanna just talk to you
Right.
about their day. You have to look for the thing that they are passionate about and connect with them through that thing. So if it's sports or video games or coding, whatever the thing is, you have to do that experience with them and connect with them and talk with them during that. If you just expect that y'all are gonna sit in a room and you're gonna ask them questions and they're gonna respond and y'all are gonna connect and vibe the way girls do, no, not
But
a thing.
see, what I would say is with girls, it depends on the girl, but a lot of times
Mhm.
they're not telling you about their real day most of the time. Right? They're telling you the highlights reel, just like you see on Facebook, right? "Oh, this is what went well." It's not till bedtime where the truth comes out
Mm.
of, maybe this part of my day didn't go so well. And part of that too is because the limitation of electronics. Like, you're in bed, you
Mhm.
don't have your phone, you don't have your tablet, you don't
You
have
don't
any
have
of
the
those things.
distractions.
Right. So now you're really thinking about your day and really thinking about what happened. And it's no longer the highlights reel. It's really, the meat of the subject. And that's when she will come with some pretty heavy conversations. So you gotta be ready for that. Right. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's too much difference between boys and girls in that respect, especially as they get older. Like I think when they're
Yeah.
younger, they'll chit chat. But it's definitely been interesting.
Yeah.
And it's weird
Uh,
how it's kinda cycles, like, you go
yeah.
from the bedtime, and then there's a long time where that's not a thing, and then all of a sudden you kind of cycle back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they say that too about parents, like, your parents raise you, and then at some point, it's like your parents become children, and you are caring
Oh.
for them.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's coming up, y'all.
But it's the circle of life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing, and I do feel bad for those people that never had kids or exposure to kids when they get in those later years, right? Because a lot of times those people don't have anybody, and
They
hopefully they've
certainly
got a
have to
stronger
prepare
network.
differently.
They do. It was interesting. My friend Kimberly, in her neighborhood, there are 3 old ladies, right? And the whole thing,
Not old
with
ladies,
the
not 3 old ladies.
no, I know, and they all live in 3 different houses, right? And the whole, Nancy, the lady that got kidnapped, right? The elderly lady, and it's been a whole big thing on the news.
Yeah.
But they have a text chain. So, like, they have a ritual where every morning they all agree to text into this text chain that they woke up, which I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's very morbid." But, like, if they don't check in by a certain time, somebody goes to their
Mhm.
house and checks on them.
Wow.
So, like, they have created this little system, and especially with this kidnapping stuff, they've kind of increased the system on this little
Yeah.
text chain. But I was like, that's really smart. And
Mhm.
how cool that, 3 little old ladies in the same neighborhood have kind of thought of this way to make sure that they check on each other without invading space, right? Like, it's not
Right.
like, you have to physically see them every day, but, and then they text when they go to bed, like, they've got a whole routine. But super cool to, have people that have those connections later
You
in
Well,
life.
I Go ahead.
I don't think that we would need any kind of specific like rules around it, but I'd say if by 10 or 11 o'clock, if we haven't texted in the group chat, it would be like, hello, somebody, is
Is this
everybody
thing on?
okay?
Tap,
Like,
tap, tap, tap.
yeah.
Well, it's smart that they created that intentionally because, used
Mhm.
to be, uh, eh, society was a lot different and your
Yeah.
neighbors would notice, right?
Yep.
Like, there was
Exactly.
more coming and going, people were
Mhm.
more observant about things like that. Now people don't pay any attention to each other, we're all in our own world, like, I don't know a lot of my neighbors, I wouldn't
Right.
recognize them if I saw them,
Right.
so I wouldn't realize that Jim Bob hasn't been out in his garden today, because or, that that's
Well,
his normal routine and it's unlike him.
but a
Yep.
lot of people are hermits now too, right?
Mhm,
With work from home and everything else, it's very common not to see them. It would be
mhm.
more uncommon to see them, right?
Yeah,
So I think that too, like you used to, everybody had to leave to go to work. So when you saw a car that was still there, it was very easy to know, okay, something's going on in that particular house.
mhm.
But now with very limited patterns for most people, it makes it really difficult to see those patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Unrelated to any of that, I'm recording in my new space. Does it look different if you're tuning in video? This is so nice. The only reason I thought to bring this up is because I'm realizing how comfortable this chair is as we're all talking. Normally by now, I'm like, ugh, shifting around. I'm uncomfortable.
I'm getting one just
You know
because I want another space, but also because this is my work space. This is my desk chair where
Mhm.
I do all my work, and I feel like I just need somewhere else to sit while I
It is
record.
nice.
you can't actually see your chair, Caramie, right? All we can
No,
see
I
is your
know, I
head.
know, but
Okay.
y'all know what my chair looks like.
We
It is
We
very
do.
fabulous.
squishy. It's very
Fabulous.
deep. I'm literally sitting Indian style right now, or crisscross applesauce, as my kids like to say,
Oh,
in
yeah.
this chair. I can lean back and still my mic is here. Like, oh, it's just everything about it is wonderful.
You'll
And
have
you
to
don't
post
have,
a
like, those
picture.
dots across. Yeah, you can post a picture on socials. Like, you don't have the dots from the blinds on your face and
Exactly. I'm in a different part of the room, so the sun
Mhm.
is not gonna be hitting me in my face.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chef's kiss.
That's how you know
Great
you're
job.
moving up in the world, on the podcasting scene, when you got your own podcasting chair.
Yep, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah.
It'll be happening at my house at some point once I get all this junk in this closet cleaned out.
There's
gonna
just
be
always
rough.
so much to do. Like, we
There
have such
is.
a list. My list just keeps growing. It's not getting any shorter.
No, but
No.
I do feel some kind of way about, like, doing some cleaning out right now. Like, I'm motivated to get rid of stuff prior to spring because I don't wanna wait till it gets nice while it's freezing
Yeah.
cold and I can't really be outside. I'd
Yeah.
rather just spend that time doing my spring cleaning, so we're calling it pre-spring
Well, and
cleaning,
there's such
but
a short window, like where we all live, between when the weather is nice and when the pollen is out trying to take you out.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's kinda smart to go ahead and get it done.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause otherwise you're dead from the
that's why on the
allergies.
snow day, I went and switched my office around, and I do have a chair by my record player. I just need to move my setup over there, but that's why I went from the blue wall to the antique ceiling wall, because I was just like, I just need something different. And I think that's something too, recognizing that mental headspace, right? Sometimes you need to switch it up.
Mhm.
Little things too, like you said, like switching the angle of your desk. It didn't cost you
Right.
$1 to move your
No.
office around, and you feel like, "Okay,
Now,
this is great.
to
I feel
be
good."
fair, my desk is heavy. It's a metal old desk. It cost me some back muscles to move it. And I had to call Jamie because I'm like, I can't move this by myself.
"I need some help, please. Thank
Yeah.
you."
Help. A lot
That's
of
so
help.
funny. This little desk that my computer's sitting on, it actually just got delivered, and I was looking at the box, and before I even opened it, I was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm about to call my wife down here. I can't stand stuff like this." And I went ahead to open the box because I thought, "Let me have as little to do as possible before I call her down here." And I opened the box, and it literally came in 3 pieces. So I was like,
"Oh, I can handle this.
Alright,
Yeah, I got this."
alright. Yeah, but if it's I would say if it's more than 5 pieces or the instruction manual reaches 3 pages, no, count me out. I'm done.
See, I'm the opposite.
Form
I'm
Oh,
like,
friend.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Mm-mm,
"Move over. Don't talk to me. Don't even try to come over here and help me because I got this. I don't need your help. You're gonna put something backwards and gonna tick me off."
mm-mm.
Mhm.
I used to be that way, and I'm still that way, like, if I'm already in a situation, I've been forced to try to do it, then I'm determined to figure it out myself, and I don't have the I don't I'm too, what's the word I'm looking
Stubborn.
for? Stubborn to give it up.
Yeah.
She says that about me
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time. She's like, "I just wanna walk over there and fix it for you, and you're too stubborn to let me get involved." So if I'm
100%.
already neck deep in it, yes. But the older I'm getting, the more I'm just like, "No, what's meant for me will come." Like, "No, this ain't it. This ain't it."
Protect your peace, and if this is not
Protect
it,
my
move on.
peace. Yes. I wanna just come back in here and it's done. So,
I
yeah,
don't
but
blame you.
Yeah.
I managed.
I
Well,
appreciate
good.
that. I think too, sometimes I like doing it just because in a way it's thoughtless, right? You just follow the instructions and you can
Mhm.
get it done. And it's a good mental break and it's physical activity, right? Versus just vegging out or all of that stuff. So it's a nice little I put my bookshelves together. That's why I also rearranged my office because my shelves were falling off the wall. So I got bookshelves. So that's
Speaking of
yeah.
following directions,
Mm.
Rachel, our custom Tableau Converse sneakers came today,
Yeah.
Oh, I saw them and they suck.
and they are not bedazzled like we had pictured. So I have ChatGPT'd a plan. for bedazzling my
We are
shoes.
bedazzling. I'm bedazzling it. I'm going to the Hobby Lobby.
If it doesn't turn out exactly like this, I'm going to be crushed.
But look how they're supposed to be custom. And by the way, they were supposed to be custom for Dreamforce, and they were held up in customs and all this stuff. Okay, so we're thinking, oh my gosh,
This
these
must be
things.
wild.
And by the way, we're supposed to have them to sit in the sparkle section, is what they were calling it.
That's what threw us off.
If you tell me sparkle section, I think we're getting bling. Okay, when these came in the mail, the way that I was like depressed, because I was like, I mean, sure, they're cute and they're very wearable, and
That's not
that's
like
not the point.
Yeah, but it's also not really custom. They're in my closet, but I'll have to get my custom Converse, the actual Salesforce MVP ones. They have the cloud logo all over them. They have the Salesforce MVP. Like, they're not bedazzled, because back when I got them, bedazzling shoes wasn't a thing, but they're actually like full blown. The full Converse sneaker portion is full custom,
I
not like 3.
suspect that what has happened is there was an original intent with the shoes, and something happened with their original vendor, because that was the whole thing about
They
the
said
delay.
something about tariffs and customs and all that, and then it's probably switched to this new vendor, which
I think this was the backup plan.
I agree.
But let's see if this will come across.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the plan. This is the ChatGPT rendered photo.
By the way, did it give you a plan of what rhinestones we're going to design?
Yes, it sure did. It sure did. And a placement graph.
Oh, yes.
Honey, because I'm not creative.
We do this before ChatGPT.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to tell y'all. So I'm not creative, in the sense that if you leave me to just free spirit this, there's no, and I only have one pair. I don't want to mess these up. So I was like, I need a regimented list of it, like how many size gems do I need? What do I use to adhere these? What size do I put where? What colors? I need to know what colors these are, because this picture is exactly what I want. So yeah, I'm going to follow ChatGPT's instructions. And if it doesn't go well, I'm throwing these shoes through a window. Pray for me.
I'll keep them, but I'll be like,
Are you getting Aurora Borealis stones? Those are
I'm not going to pretend like I know what those are.
Okay, so those are the ones that sparkle the most. So when
that's
you go,
what we want.
That is what I want. You want AB stones, Aurora Borealis.
So that's what
stones.
it said. Okay, that's what that stands for. Okay, yes. It said AB rhinestones, mixed sizes, light sapphire blue, lavender amethyst, and anything red
you
mini
get,
ones.
Anything that you get that is colored, right? So the Aurora Borealis is like the rainbow ones, right? They pick up all the colors versus the clear. And ask me how I know. It's called Mardi Gras. So for Mardi Gras,
I was about to ask, like, you know an awful lot about rhinestones.
So for Mardi Gras, you like when you're in the balls and stuff, they give you pictures of what your costume's supposed to look like, and then you have to figure out how to make it. And one of the big things is when the lights hit you, right? The only thing that is going to pick up from a camera and stuff is where you have rhinestones.
Right.
And the stones that pick up the best are the AB stones, the Aurora Borealis stones, in a variety of sizes and patterns, right? So you'd always do, like, you've got to get within a certain square inch how many stones would go there for a certain pattern in order to understand the light projection. So Mardi Gras is key in understanding rhinestones and feathers. If you need a lesson in feathers and how to put them together to make Mardi Gras capes for kings and all
maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll rhinestone these shoes, and then I will feather a Trailblazer hoodie.
No,
just be like popping.
No. I'm gonna put the same rhinestones on my Data Blazer hoodie to really give.
You need to get me a Data Blazer hoodie so that I can match my shoes, because I don't have the right blue.
We'll work on that.
Tableau team, are you listening?
I'll Sheridan, Liz, if you're out
there. Call your plug. Oh, goodness.
Data Blazers. That's, if you don't know the Salesforce world, there are hoodies that they give out. There's Trailblazers, Agentforce Blazers, Data Blazers, Sales Blazers, Service Blazers. Basically, any product they have, they've turned into a blazer.
That's right.
And you have to earn these blazers. You don't just get them typically. So how you earn them is a variety of ways. But once you get one, it's a big deal in the Salesforce ecosystem for people to know what blazer you have.
Mm-hmm.
So there
And
you
at
go.
all the
them all.
conferences, that is the stuff that people make a beeline for. That
Oh, yeah.
swag has gotten more and more scarce at the conferences. They not sell out, but they run out quickly. It's like one particular booth, you got to go find or whatever, and then it's gone. So
You got to
yeah.
complete a quest and
something, yeah. I mean, they have a store. You can buy these things if you want to
Mhm.
pay
No, I
to
don't buy these
market for
things.
the company, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah. They the quest lately, they've been giving out the animals. So like that's how I
Yeah.
got the Agent Force goat, which I don't know what that one's called, but I got that at New York World Tour but I had already completed the badge. Like it was something they wanted and I'd already done it. So I was like, look, I completed this like 2 months ago. Can I just have the goat? And they were like, yeah,
Yeah.
here's your thing. Go get your goat. I was like, thank you.
Yep.
A
Thank you.
goat
I'll
looking for a
take
goat.
the goat. Hey.
Welcome for that one.
All right, let's talk about this candy thing that you sent us.
Oh, yes.
Because we kind of touched on it briefly in our group chat, but I need to understand what's going on. I had not heard anything about this.
All right, to get everybody up to speed, there is a thing called Healthy Florida First, and Florida is doing a lot of studies on different foods to understand what is in them, right? So like they just came out today with a thing on bread and how much pesticide is actually in certain types of bread. And some breads are better, like Pepperidge Farm, it's good, right? But if you do Dave's
Packed full of
Killer
sugar,
Bread,
but
right, Dave's Killer Bread, which to be fair, killer's in the name, right? Like it's high up there on the pesticides. So they didn't falsely market, you just didn't pay attention. Like so, but in candy, right? They found high levels of arsenic in some of the candies. And so they published a guide that was showing what candies had higher levels of arsenic. Now, to be clear, you eat any of these things in moderation, you're not really
Fine.
seeing side effect, right? Like,
Right.
but the point is we haven't been paying attention to the things that have been put into our foods and the things that have been introduced that are harmful. And we also don't know the long-term effects of those things. So when you start looking at, you eat pesticides 4 times a day, every single day for the rest of your life, either you're like a cockroach and you're going to survive a nuclear attack, right?
listen, don't say
Or
that word. I'm triggered.
I know,
Continue.
or you might have something else that you're totally fine, right? And you'll live for forever. You'll live to be like 130. You'll be the oldest person in the world. So I think there's just a lot of that going on, but they've been publishing these studies now that have been exposing food toxins. You can go to exposingfoodtoxins.com and you can see all of the latest studies that have been done.
So what are the top worst candies with this arsenic issue?
Where did that go? I was literally sitting here looking for that photo that you sent us because it's not in the photos in the group chat. What the crap?
It was a TikTok, a X thing I sent you.
Oh, it was a link. That's what it was. It was a link
Yeah.
to X. That's what it was.
Y'all can call it X. It's still Twitter. It's always going to be
It's
Twitter to me.
I
It's
know.
Twitter. But if you go to exposingfoodtoxins.com, you can see the arsenic parts per billion. You can't really sort this graphic,
Here, I got
but
it.
you've got 480 parts per billion in Laffy Taffy.
That's the worst one?
Well, I'm looking at you can't sort it. That's the problem. Nerds has 500.
Nerds. I love nerds.
540 in Jolly Ranchers. Twizzlers 510.
Is Airheads on that list?
I don't know. 570 in Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Fruit Chew Limes.
Tootsie Rolls is giving arsenic. I hate that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Here's the one.
There's a lot of things on here that are okay, right? Like the Annie's organic bunny fruit packs that we talked about before, Milky Ways, Twix, M&Ms. They're all safe.
Reese's peanut butter cups are safe. You're welcome,
Oh, thank
world.
God.
Yeah. Or
thank you, Lord.
Get you a Whopper. Whoppers are safe too.
Who are the manufacturers of these different ones? Because a lot
Reese's
of those chocolate
is manufactured
ones
by Hershey's, and Hershey's is on the list.
So
it depends.
Like the Nerds and Sweet Tarts and all of that is Ferrera Candy Company, And they have a lot on this list that have been identified as having high levels.
Where does this come from, though? Like, how does that sort of thing get introduced into the
It's
candy?
probably in something that's used to make the candy. Like it's a byproduct of a byproduct of a byproduct. There's no possible way that a candy manufacturer is like, hey guys, I had a great idea for flavor.
Just
Let's throw some arsenic in there, just a little bit.
But there's also like, okay, fun, disgusting fact. There is actually an acceptable parts per million bugs in gum.
Right.
Because in a gum factory, right, they can't control insects like they try, but there is actually an acceptable measure of how many bug parts can be in a piece of gum. I know, Caramie, you may never chew gum again.
As if there's not already enough disappointment
as if we weren't
in my
already
life.
stressed enough about all the things.
Look, our trees are going to blow up, and now you can't eat gum, so it's fine.
Look, here's the deal. I was stressed a little bit about the candy, but I don't eat that much candy.
I don't either.
When you sent me this bread chart and my Dave's Killer bread that I eat 2 pieces of every single day of my life and have
Let's do the math on that. Let's do the math on that. How many pieces are in a loaf? And then if you're doing 2 pieces a day,
I eat a loaf a week. I eat a loaf of Dave's Killer bread a week.
And it's pesticides measured in parts per billion. So the question would be how many parts are in there. But in the 21 whole grain, it's 10.38 parts per billion pesticides.
Now, I will say, I don't know how my bread ranks on this, but I actually eat the good seed, which is in a yellow pack. So right now what I'm saying is I'm good because that one's not on this.
So what's the situation do we think with the pesticides in the bread? Do we think that's because of the harvest, the growth and the harvesting of the grain?
Because the pesticides are sprayed so that you can harvest the grain, and so it makes it into whatever.
So what is like a harmful amount? Because I mean, the same is true for the amount of, I don't know what they're called, but there's also things like in meat where there's a certain and milk. Oh, don't even y'all.
But look,
don't
even bring up dairy.
Look, in general, too much of anything is bad for you. Right?
That's right.
If you just want to look at it that way, too much sugar is bad for you. Too much egg is bad for you. Whatever you want to talk about, too much of anything is bad for you. I think the question is, it's interesting that they're doing all of this, right? But the reality is what are they going to do about it? And how much does it really impact your health? Right?
Nothing. We seem to be the only country that doesn't care about.
Right. And like you go to Europe and your bread is super clean. Like it is super great. That's why a lot of people are doing those sourdough starters and everything else, because your gut health completely changes when you actually eat clean bread.
Yep.
It is so much better for you.
There's a whole movement. You can look it up. The Bread Beckers, they're local, and they've started this whole store about you make all your bread with your own grain. They sell different kinds of grain. They sell grain mills, and it's all local, and you can be part of a co-op where grain gets delivered. And I've had some of the bread that's made from that fresh mill, like wheat. I've had the cookies. I mean, and this stuff is good for you, tastes amazing, way better than the stuff made with the fake stuff. And it also like promotes your gut health, to your point. Like you don't get the spikes in your blood sugar like you do from eating a piece of white bread. Like the things they've added into our food. If you look at history, actually, when we started seeing a mental health decline in the United States was when they introduced not having local grain mills and people milling their own flour and having their own bread. And they started enriching bread to keep it preserved in grocery stores. That is when the mental health decline of this country started to happen.
Yep. Well, and I'm sure it's more than just the bread. It's all processed.
Oh yeah,
because of the mass. Our population is so large. And city centers, like agriculture areas, rural areas are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, which means less space and there's not as many farmers. I mean, so all that to say, they have to produce more with less and do it faster. So you have genetically modified everything, and you have all these preservatives in the processed food to make it last longer, to your point. So I mean, unless you're unless you live somewhere and have the time, like you don't work and you can be a homesteader that somehow provides all your own things. The only thing I knew to do, which I've been trying to stick with, is eat as little processed food as possible. Eat as much as you can in its raw state, meaning,
Right.
Yeah.
Shop the perimeter of the grocery store.
Correct.
And stay out of the weeds in the middle.
Don't go to the aisles. Don't go to the parts of the frozen section that are prepared meals and things like that. If you can't go get it from Mother Nature the way they're trying to hand it to you in the store, it is processed in some way. That's all you can do.
It's all you can do. And it's a funny story. Jamie stopped eating bread. Okay. Because that was a big thing. Right. It's a big thing. But then Jamie decided one day, after not eating bread for months, that Jamie wanted to eat bread and ate some bread from a store, highly processed bread. Jamie the next morning tells me, I can't eat bread. I was like, why? What happened? He's like, I had dreams that I took over Guatemala. It was like, I was so like, he's like, I was so out of my mind. Like, it just totally, like, not only like physically wrecked me, but like mentally, he was like, I was taking over Guatemala with some fish. Like, it was just like the craziest story you could have heard. Right. And he was just sitting there and he's like, so I can't do it. I'm like, well, yeah, I wouldn't do bread if I felt like I was coming off of an acid trip either. Right. Like,
right.
I mean,
I could just see Jay on like the short, like on the Guatemalan with the fish. And he's like,
yeah. I mean, and I kind of imagined him like with a Dora backpack, like with a fish in his hands. So he's got the little backpack and he's like, trying to take it over. It's almost as bad as the time that he dreamed that a turtle lived on top of a flagpole that talked to him that was a marsupial. So had little baby turtles in a pouch, right? Like,
oh, I was like, what are you talking about? That's a lot of that's a big string of words.
A hybrid turtle kangaroo situation, sitting on top of a flagpole, talking to him outside of a fraternity house.
I mean, I've had some dreams, but dang,
that's intricate. His mind went places for that one. No, him talking about bread like that makes me think of the TikTok Jessica actually just sent me earlier. It said, and this is me. This is why she sent it to me. My toxic trait is seeing if food that I know hurts my stomach will really hurt my stomach this time.
Yes.
That is me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice on this one. 9 out of 10 times, it has me in the bathroom.
Oh, 10 out of 10 times for me.
There's always that one, and maybe I get lucky, and this time will be that one, and I can just enjoy it and go on about my life.
It's one of the things, when it's worth it, it's totally fine. But when you get sick from food that wasn't worth it, that's when I get real mad.
Yeah. It's usually
like
not
my
worth
surgery.
It.
Ice cream makes me sick, and every once in a while I'll be like, forget it, I'm just going down. And as soon as I made all the regretful choices, I'm like, oh God, I'll never eat ice cream again. I swear, if you'll just let me live through this.
You're bargaining with Jesus. You're
calling dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody describe it like that. That's good. That's really good. Oh my God.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Oh.
Well.
On that note, we should probably wind this thing up.
Wrap it down. Land it down. Yeah, call them dinosaurs. Let them know we're coming.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of Coffee Meets Cloud. We're glad you were here. If you enjoyed hanging out, if you enjoyed the conversation, please follow the show. Give us a rating. Share it with one of your friends. It just helps other people discover our little show here. And if you want to connect with socials, you can find us on pretty much everything at Coffee Meets Cloud, or check out our website at coffeemeetscloud.com. We drop an episode every Tuesday, and we hope that we'll see you next time. See you ladies later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.